It all starts in the past with Dr. Baxter Stockman, who was in his dark laboratory conducting multiple experiments with animals, including crocodiles, wild boars, rhinos, and the most important of all, of course I speak of Superfly, as this doctor verbalizes that he had no family and was even rejected by society, so his love for animals inspired him so much that he devoted his life to genetically modify them. Now with all these animals he can finally be happy, since he considers them a family, but there is no time for happiness. Because at that moment the military burst into his laboratory, subduing him. Superfly, seeing that his father was being hurt, rushes to his aid, killing a few soldiers. The big fight causes a radioactive sample to fall down the sewers. Dr. Baxter is arrested on Cynthia Udrum's orders, and Superfly escapes with his brothers into exile. After this brutal origin story, 15 years have passed. Now we meet the Teenage Ninja Turtles, who are out tonight as Master Splinter has given them an important mission. Well, actually they just have to go shopping for the week's groceries, but without being seen by humans, as Splinter taught them that they are evil and should stay away from them when they see them. Although actually these young turtles would like to live more with humans, as they don't consider them as bad as the rat says, so we see them stealthily infiltrate the first store where they steal some paper, then some supplements, and then they raid a container to steal the precious Doritos. With all the stuff they are now ready to return home, but there is still time. Also, the news tells us how a mysterious criminal mastermind known as Superfly has stolen a powerful industrial-grade launcher and no one knows about it, while the turtles ponder whether to return home or stay a while longer. Donatello suggests they go to Brooklyn for a movie, but Leonardo doesn't like the idea as he respects his father, telling his brothers to go home. Too late is Michelangelo. Donatello and Raphael run to see the show, and Leonardo has to follow them. At the movie, they all start talking about how they would be happy if they lived with humans, as they feel like outcasts, misfits in society. Raphael mentions that humans might love them the way they love superheroes. Leonardo says yes, but that day is not today, ordering them all to return home. Before returning to their sewer, the turtles watch the humans have fun tonight and go home sad. When they arrive, Splinter had been waiting for them. The rat notices that they took longer than usual. They try to make up an excuse to go to sleep, but Leonardo can't lie to his father, telling him that they were actually late because they went to the movies. Something that bothers Splinter a lot, since he did not agree that they try to coexist with humans. Michelangelo and Donatello tell him that they only saw the movie but that nothing bad happened. However, the old man does not understand, telling them that now he is going to remind them why they should not approach humans. Here we flash back to the past, 15 years ago, when Splinter was a normal, ordinary little rat. Everything was going very bad for him. He had no friends. The dogs hated him, but most of all, the humans were always trying to kill him. Splinter had a very sad life. At that time, he had a friend, a cockroach. Unfortunately, this one was stepped on and died, so he ate it. But one cold and rainy night, everything would change for him, because in the sewers he would find some baby turtles, which won his heart because they didn't want to kill him like up there. These turtles were strangely in a radioactive liquid. When Splinter touched him, he turned him into an old mutant rat. After adopting the turtles, Splinter and they became a family. They had a great time, they were very happy, but not forever because the little ones were intrigued by the world above, the world of humans. So Splinter gave humans a chance. One day he went out with all the turtles to the Big Apple. However, people seeing him would be completely scared of him, calling him a monster. They all chased him and tried to kill him. He was thrown to the ground, lost his turtles. They were almost run over, but Splinter managed to save them. The baby turtles never understood that they were treated like monsters. From that day on, Splinter returned to the sewers and vowed never to return to the human world. In addition, to protect the turtles, he decided to unearth the secrets of ninjutsu, to turn the body into a lethal weapon. For years, Splinter spent years training with the turtles until he turned them into lethal beings. After this story returning to the present, he punishes them for a month so that they cannot go out. Michelangelo, Donatello, and Raphael go to bed upset, reproaching Leonardo for telling his father the truth. That night, they all reflect on what they might do if they were accepted by humans. But of course, tonight something else would have to happen. Now we are with some criminals who are trying to steal a van, and they are ready to start the mission, because this vehicle has a precious object. So we see how they slow down the van, puncture the tires, and go into action. With a CI fee, they open the back door and steal this mysterious artifact in an ambulance to avoid attracting attention, but the police notice and chase them. Just as they are about to be caught, the ambulance is lifted by something that takes it flying to an old abandoned place. Here the criminals are frightened by the presence of a mutated rhinoceros, who introduces himself as Superfly, scaring them, to immediately finish them off. Cindy Outram is informed of this robbery, so she decides to put a tracker on all the shipments, as she wants to meet Superfly personally. At the same time, the Ninja Turtles enjoy filming themselves, cutting up things like watermelons. To make it more interesting, Raphael decides to throw a ninja star. Seemingly alright, he hits his target. However, the star ends up hitting the helmet of a mysterious girl, who we will now meet as she is April O'Neil. This time it is Leonardo, who, upon seeing her, falls completely in love with her. There is a curiosity because in the live action, Michelangelo fell in love with her, and in the series, Donatello. As April was yelling at them for having hit him with the ninja star and was distracted, a thief takes the opportunity to steal her motorcycle. So Leonardo has the idea of chasing the thief to return the bike to April, as they believe they are the culprits. So they chase the criminal to an old garage. In this place there were many more criminals, and they are ready to fight. Before starting, the turtles have a brief, unforeseen event, as they hurt themselves. Still, the battle begins, and we see that the turtles are too strong and too trained as they beat them easily. There is even a guy who tries to run them over, but Raphael stops him. The animation in this part of the movie is quite similar to Across Spider-Verse. The good thing is that the turtles defeat all the criminals. However, they have to hide because April arrives and opens the garage because she wants to get her bike back. Obviously, she notices their presence and tells them to come out into the open, as they look very suspicious. They don't want to do it because of their appearance, but in the end, Leonardo ends up rebelling, and along with him, all his brothers. April at first thinks they are disguises, but when she touches him, she realizes that his skin is real, which scares her a little. But not enough to want to know about her story. But first they go to a more private place. Here the turtles ask her why she is not blonde, and she is in search of clues to find Superfly, since because of her and the recent robberies the prom has been cancelled. Miguel Angel asks her if she thinks there are more people like her, who accept them. April tells them no, that she only accepted them because they helped her. She gives them her contact and then leaves. Back in the sewers, the turtles comment about this event. Donatello comes up with an idea, because as April sees them as heroes, he thinks he can make all humans see them in the same light, and not as monsters. To do this, they plan to find Superfly, defeat him, and then hand him over to the police, and then receive all the recognition of society. Eventually, they would all end up entering the school, being popular turtles, and everyone would love them. Raphael and Leonardo loved the plan, and that is why later at night when they were at home in the sewers, they call April to tell her about their plan, from beating up Superfly to dredging him up and handing him over to the police. All of this to be recorded by her as a journalist. In the end, she will be recognized, but above all, they will be accepted by the society for this heroic act. She accepts and they agree to meet at her school at night, so we see how they meet her at the school. They are all excited to be in this place because they want to be in the school very happy. There is a comedy improvisation team where Michelangelo wants to sign up, but they don't have a last name. In the middle of the conversation, they realize that in a locker it says Bomichica, until Raphael realizes that it was actually April's locker, so they all make fun. She tells them that she actually got that nickname because in the past, when she tried to be a journalist and was about to give the morning announcements, she got so nervous that she couldn't read what she was supposed to read and ended up vomiting in an open signal. Since then, everyone makes fun of her and gave her the nickname Vomichica. They made her several memes, that's why she seeks to restore her reputation, and if she helps to catch Superfly, she will be recognized for something cool. After this, she shows the turtles her investigations of Superfly, revealing to them that these last weeks Superfly has been stealing very important high-tech cargo, using the most dangerous criminals. But the truth is that Superfly has never been seen. because he murders everyone who does. April shows them photos of the most recognized criminals in the city, proposing the plan to find them one by one. Thus we see how the Ninja Turtles break into each of the criminals' secret bases, giving them a complete beating, but apparently none of them know anything. Some blame each other, and in the end it turns out that the criminal who was really working with Superfly was Bad Bernie, this guy. So the Turtles, with their soft skills of convincing, beating, make Bad Bernie tell them the truth. He reveals to them that Superfly murdered his men after they worked for him, and threatened him to give him an assimilator because if he didn't he would kill him too. He to not die, he got it, and will deliver it to him tonight. With this information they are ready to meet Superfly. But first they get a message from their father who wants them home, so the Turtles must return immediately, but they can't take April because she would be scared. At home, Splinter was waiting for them with a surprise because these last days he had realized that they were not at home and he missed them because he had raised them as he knew they were growing up. Decided to organize a complete human experience for them, as he knows they are very interested in the human world. He brought them some pictures of people and disguised himself as a waiter to give them a full dining experience. However, this surprise seems unnecessary to the Turtles, and they tell him not to worry, but that they have things to do and leave him alone. Tonight they have to wait for Superfly, and they do so in the van given to them by Bad Bernie. Right away we would see 3 stylish vehicles arriving: a motorcycle, a car, and a van. The first to get out are the Rhino and the Boar. He's the boss and he's arrived with all his brothers, the animals that were mutated by Dr. Baxter. He hits the van and discovers the Turtles, but he doesn't treat them badly because they are animals like him, and on the contrary, they are very happy, shaking his hand and telling him they are cousins. Actually, their father, Dr. Dexter, created them, because he accidentally spilled some of that mutant liquid down the sewers, so technically they are related. Superfly proceeds to introduce them to all of his brothers, the most important of which are Ray Fillet, Leatherhead, Mondo Gecko, and Genji's Frog. The Turtles ask him if he is really building a weapon, but Superfly mentions that no, he is building a machine to create. But before they know more, as Superfly has good taste, he decides to take them to a bowling alley to talk more. Here, while everyone is having fun, April talks to Leonardo to tell him to ask her more questions. All the Turtles were somehow empathizing with Superfly as they were also rejected, so Leonardo asks him more about his story. So Superfly tells us that he was born thanks to his father. It was the first thing he saw because he never had a family and could never be happy, so he made him and all his siblings. However, the agents of the company he worked for came and kidnapped him. Superfly took his little brothers into exile and raised them from the time they were babies until they grew up. Superfly thought humans were bad because of what they did to his father, but he believed there were good humans. One night he decided to go out with all his siblings to the city, but all they received were rejections and insults, as people considered them monsters. One guy chased them and tried to kill them, but Superfly beat him up and finished him off. The Turtles mentioned to him that the same thing happened to their father, and that's why they decided to go live in the sewers. Superfly reveals to them that now his plan is to wipe out all humans and have mutants rule the earth. All this time he has been collecting parts to assemble a machine to send the mutagen into the atmosphere to make all the animals on the planet become mutants. Every fish, every fly, snake, everything, and so they will be the dominant species on Earth. The Turtles, upon hearing this magnificent plan, just have to say that they agree, otherwise they would be crushed by all these animals. April was listening to everything, telling them that this is fatal to the human race and they must stop it. The Turtles tell Superfly what would happen if, hypothetically, we didn't agree with your plan. They would be crushed, Superfly mentions, as he would consider it treason. Donatello offers to drive and carry the artifact. Superfly accepts, but sends them off with the Rhino and the Boar and 2 more mutant animals on their way as they sing with happiness. For acceptance would soon come into their lives after so many years of being ostracized by society. The Turtles devise a plan to get them out of the vehicle and take the artifact. Michelangelo, with Donatello's cane, presses the brake, causing the animals to fly away. and now they take control of the vehicle and try to escape from Superfly. However, this is not going to be possible because Superfly's henchmen go after them, and although they fight, it is not enough because Superfly in his car crashes them and then beats them up in the van, takes the artifact, and before leaving he tells them, "I thought we were cousins." The turtles try to stop him by holding on to the object, but they can't because they end up falling on the track, where they are immediately cornered by the police and subdued like real monsters. After this, they would be taken to the presence of Cynthia Uthram, who electrocutes them, revealing to them that she will use their blood to make mutant animals and use them as weapons. The initial plan she always had, and that is why she took the investigations away from Dr. Baxter Stockman. To do this, they start by draining them of blood, this green compound that makes them mutants. But of course, while this was going on, April the sewers are erected to look for Splinter, the rat, telling him that his children are in danger. And that's why later, when all the turtles were being sucked, milked in Splinter's words, the old master arrives. The guards try to stop him and taunt him, but the rat, though old, is too grounded and beats them up, deciding to pull out all his ninja weaponry. After finishing them all off, he releases his children. April soon shows up and everyone seems to be happy, but no, because they have to stop Superfly. Splinter punishes the turtles for a year, telling them that if they want to be safe, they just have to listen to him. Later they arrive at Superfly's secret lair, where he was already listing everything with his brothers. The Ninja Turtles enter along with the rat, and Superfly appears. They are ready to fight. Superfly sends his brothers to fight while he activates the machine. However, something interesting happens as they rebel. Starting with Mondo Gecko, who says he won't fight, and so everyone rebels against Superfly. The Rhino and the Boar throw themselves against him, but the Fly is too grounded and beats them up. Soon, however, they would all throw themselves against Superfly, and so they begin to destroy his machine. He can't take them all on. He even asks Splinter for help, telling him that they are the same, that they both hate humans and he should help him, not to be a coward. These words anger the rat, who pushes with all his might, ending up destroying Superfly, sending him to the depths with all the radioactive liquid. It seems that everything is over, all is happiness. Unfortunately not, because immediately they observe how in the water a green light is emerging. And so we see that it comes to the surface and we discover that it is Superfly, who has become a kaiju. Now with this great power he stands up, looks at the turtles and his brothers, thanking them because now he has become too powerful, and flies off to New York, as he is going to destroy the city for everything they did to him in the past. April, seeing Superfly through the window, tells Leonardo why that happened. At the same time, Splinter, the rat, gets serious and finally releases a motivational phrase for everyone, saying that they must fix that for a long time the turtles have been taken care of as children. But if what they want is to go out to the human world, that is what they must do, and he is no one to stop them. So the animals unite to go fight Superfly. April had an antidote. When they get the antidote, she gives it to Raphael to shoot him. He gives her the leg, which was surrounded by a horse that returns to its natural state. This alerts Superfly of their presence, so he goes to attack them, throws a tank of gasoline which explodes and leaves everyone badly wounded. The turtles manage to survive this attack, but they are not going to survive the next one because in the news they can see how the press mentions that tonight the mutants attack the whole city, monstrous beings. And they must run every time they see them. The press obviously refers to them, the turtles. A lady with her son runs when she sees them because she thinks they are the enemy. It is at this moment that the turtles stop looking for approval. They decide that they will have to be the heroes of this story. They prepare the antidote, and Donatello comes up with the idea of putting it on Superfly's back, as there is a hole in it, so that they can return him to his normal state, so that he will not be a threat. On the news, the anchor woman runs scared, and April or Neil arrives to take her position, publicly revealing that the Ninja Turtles are on the side of the humans. The turtles drive up in a van to the top of a building to jump on Superfly's back and put the antidote on him. However, they are not going to be able to. Superfly notices and cuts them down. Splinter takes the antidote and tries to do it, but Superfly sends him too far away with one blow and catches the turtles and is about to crush them, but it is complicated by their shells. At the same time, Splinter the rat is helped by a human, who, upon seeing the new version of April O'Neil's story, is convinced that the Ninja Turtles are good. So the humans help him get close to Superfly and launch the antidote, but it won't get there. So the turtles have to jump and juggle in the air to get the antidote into the hole in Superfly's back, and it explodes. All the animals that made up his body return to their normal state. Superfly turned back into a fly. After this heroic act, all the Ninja Turtles, finally after so long, are accepted. The rat has a happy ending, and now the turtles go to school, where all the young people look at them with surprise, but they are well received because now they are heroes and now they will be able to meet girls. This is how this story ends, but don't worry, there is a post-believe scene where turtles are happy at school. Now April is doing an investigation into TCI, the corporation behind all the mutant animals. Leonardo asks her to be his prom date. Good thing April left him in the friend zone. The most interesting thing is that Cynthia Outram had in her power Superfly, who was now just a fly and was tracking the turtles because she wanted to experiment with them, but as they are dangerous, she decided to bring the Destroyer. And that's the end of this movie. If you want me to do the live-action version that came out some time ago, let me know in the comments and I will do it. Well, without further ado, that's all from me. See you in the next one. Bye, and a kiss to all.